Good evening, good evening. How is everyone? Can I, woo! Okay, good.
Put me in, Coach.
I'm so grateful for being here. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Jeff Clapp, Martin Pankey, and the rest of the Southwest Florida BizNet team for agreeing to have me here this evening. I'm truly humbled and appreciative of the opportunity, and I look forward to our time spent together. In addition, I want to thank each and every one of you who have come and are spending your Tuesday evening outside of normal business hours to invest in yourselves and your futures. I thank you for being the type of people who are continually looking to learn and grow and expand and network, and commend you on being here. You know, it's ironic that I'm here to speak with you tonight about optimizing your business performance, because just a few short years ago, at 23 years of age, when I started my business, I sat knees to knees and looked eyes to eyes with business gurus in the town here that were successful entrepreneurs from a monetary standpoint, and they looked me dead in my eyes and told me there was no way I could monetize this business. That what I'm doing tonight, there was no way I would be able to get it done. Second reason it's ironic I'm here with you all tonight is because I was a kid who grew up hating public speaking. I had a speech impediment, didn't even begin speaking until age 4. And when I did begin speaking, I had a speech therapist that I went up to until my high school years. In school, I was the kid who would sit way in the back of class and hope and pray that I would not even be called upon, because I would turn beet red in embarrassment if called upon. I was too worried about what other people thought about me, how it was that I sounded, and so on and so forth. I share this with you, ladies and gentlemen, to help you become inclined to maybe hear what it is that I have to say tonight. Because I believe too often in life people listen, but they don't hear. And I wanted you to know just a little bit about me so you're more inclined to hear me. Additionally, I want you to understand that the 3 principles that I'm going to share with you tonight are 3 that have made a profound difference and impact on my life from a business standpoint and personally. These 3 principles, strategies, techniques, call them what you may, are 3 things that I assure you will help you to optimize your business performance. Now, are these 3 things the end-all, be-all, that you're guaranteed success when you walk out of this room? Absolutely not. However, these 3 things, if applied to your life, to your business, will undoubtedly advance you in your careers, in your businesses, and help you to optimize your performance. Those 3 things are, number 1, living with and having an overwhelming amount of passion. Number 2, focusing on controlling what it is you can control. And number 3, to be willing and able to get out of your comfort zone. Number 1, passion. Can you, within a time frame of talking with somebody, tell if they're passionate, yes or no? Yes. Yeah, I love it. A resounding and overwhelming yes. And for those of you who answered yes, you're absolutely right. You can, in fact, tell, usually within 15 to 20 seconds of interacting with somebody, if they're passionate about what it is they're doing. You can tell if somebody's passionate based upon how they stand, based upon how they walk, based upon how they talk, the tone in which they articulate things. You can tell if somebody is passionate based upon how they bounce back from adversity, how it is their body language is in a chair, how it is when they're standing, and again when they're walking. You can tell if somebody is passionate through a number of things. And the unfortunate reality is so few of people in today's day and age live with passion. They've let life beat them up. They've let the failed business opportunities beat them down. They've let the adversities pull them back. Passion alone is not enough to help you optimize your business performance, right? If there's a lot of people who do live with passion, so you can't just go up to someone and say, well, I think you should buy from me because I'm passionate. They're going to look at you and say, well, that's nice, and I love that you're passionate, but thanks, but no thanks. However, passion can sometimes take the place of the other things that you don't have. Maybe you don't know everything you need to know. Passion can sometimes replace those things. So the question I always get is this. Well, Adam, that's great that you can speak with passion, that you live with passion, but I can't get passionate about anything in my life. I don't have any passion. I can't live with passion. I can't speak with passion. And it saddens me to hear that, ladies and gentlemen, because within each and every one of us is something that makes us tick. A desire that we all have, that we all long for, a dream that we might have had in the past, or one that we might hold at this very moment. The reason why people don't speak and live with passion and have passion in their life is because they don't have a why. When people ask me, how do I live and speak with passion, I tell them because I have an overwhelming why. An overwhelming why. It's bigger than me with what I'm doing. Everybody who's told me I wouldn't amount to something in my life, when my principal in the 8th grade told me I'd be lucky to graduate high school, when I was sleeping in my car and trying to grow my business, that has all become a part of my why. When I feel like I can't keep going, that's what drives me. That's what shapes me. The problem with most people today is they never find their why. They think it's all about them and me, me, me. With me, I could have never given up on my business. It's bigger than me. I felt hopeless and helpless so many times in my life. When I was in my car sleeping, I wanted to give up. I contemplated my life. If I gave up at that moment, I would have been letting every person down who's since had the opportunity to hear me. I had to recognize that I'm on a bigger mission than just me. It's not about me. Why do you do what you do? What's your why, ladies and gentlemen? The second question I always get when I tell people that to live and speak with passion, to have passion, they have to find their why. They say, well, oh, okay, that's good and well, but I don't have a why. You have to look for it. You have to spend time to look for it. Most people have experienced some sort of heartache and pain and adversity in life. Some of you have probably experienced far worse than what I or others might be able to fathom having gone through. The difference between people who live with passion and those who don't is the ones who live with passion find a way to package that why to their advantage. You see, some of you might have been told that you wouldn't graduate high school. Some of you might have slept in your car. Some of you might have been homeless. But most people allow those experiences to define them. Whereas if they would just shift and say, this doesn't define me, I need to define it. What does this mean? Why did this happen? How can I improve from it? When you take the time to look for it, ladies and gentlemen, that's when it comes. A lot of people think they're going to generate these $1 million business plans and ideas by coming home from work at 5:30, cracking a can of beer, and sitting on the couch to watch the TV.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. That's just me.
So that might work for John. I don't know. The harsh reality is, though, the ideas aren't just going to come. We have to take time to be reflective, to be mindful of what is going on in our minds, in between our ears, what's going on in that space in our brain. You're not going to find it by sitting on the couch and watching TV. Sure, we all need rest and relaxation. I get that. But if you want to find your why to help you to begin to live with more passion, you have got to take time to search for it. There's no instant gratification in life as much as we'd all like to have it. The second point I want you to catch as it relates to having a passion is this. Go ahead and write this down if you feel led and got a pen and paper in front of you. The purpose behind your passion is more important than the plan behind your action. I'll say it again. The purpose behind your passion is more important than the plan behind your action. Ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of us in this room know that action is the number one most important thing we must do in our dreams and our businesses and our lives. If we don't act, we can't get. I get that. What I'm suggesting, however, is that we have got to spend less time worrying about that business plan and that sophisticated, complex business plan and marketing plan and sales strategy, and spend more time on identifying our reasoning for our passion. Again, our why. You see, we are in such a competitive market here in Southwest Florida in varying industries. You can go down Colonial Boulevard, Daniels Parkway, and find 20 insurance agents. You can find 100 realtors. You can find 1,000 financial services gurus. We're in an extremely competitive market. So when you think about that, what is it that's going to separate you? What's going to separate you and your business, ladies and gentlemen? It's not just the simplistic cliche, and I'm just going to use real estate as an example. Oh, I'm going to help you find your dream home. Oh, I'm going to help you and your family find a home they've always been destined for. I'm not taking a shot at anyone who might have said that before, if there are realtors in the room who've said that. It's not my agenda. That is not your why. People are more interested in life, in business, with why you do what you do and not what you do. They want to know what makes you tick. So I'll go back to that real estate example. Maybe if you're in real estate and you got into real estate because there was a time in your life where you were homeless or you experienced some encounter in growing up in circumstances that were less than adequate, that you grew up in a rat-infested home perhaps, or somewhere where you had to share a bed in a room with a number of siblings. And because of that experience, because of that homelessness, or because of that negative experience on the front end, the first time you purchased your home, you were overwhelmed with joy and excitement and fulfillment. Now, when you go to sell a home to somebody, and you tell them what you do, not what you do, but why you do it, they're going to be attached emotionally. People take action when there's an emotional attachment to something. You need to make people feel a certain type of way if you want them to do business with you. If you tell them that story, not for their sympathies, but to sincerely let them know, yeah, I got into real estate or I got into X, Y, or Z industry because X, Y, or Z had happened to me, and I want to ensure that every person I come in contact with and encounter get to feel what I felt when I had purchased my first home after being homeless. Now there's a reason behind it. Does that make sense? Say aye. Aye. The purpose behind that passion is more important than the plan behind your action, ladies and gentlemen. Stop planning every day for what could be. Stop planning every day for what might be. Focus today on taking that action, but on why you're taking the action. Why are you in the industry you're in? Why do you wake up at the time you wake up? Do you ever take time, and I don't need any response, but I want you to think intellectually right now. Do you ever take time to think about what you're thinking about? We're so routine and on autopilot so frequently that we just let these thoughts bombard us. That we wake up in the morning and go to the job or to the business that we started 10 years ago and maybe we've been able to sustain, and that's all good and well. But you wouldn't be here right now if you just wanted to sustain. We're all constantly searching for more and in need of improvement and of growth. I challenge you tonight to begin to live with more passion. To do that, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to get that why, and to find it, you have to search for it. Secondly, I'm a big believer in focusing each and every day on controlling what you can control, ladies and gentlemen. There are a number of things in our life that we cannot control. We can't control the weather. It's raining outside right now. Sometimes rain makes people miserable and frustrated, and their hair gets wet, and their suit, and their power suit and power tie gets wet, and they're pissed off at the world. There are so many things in life that we cannot control. What happens too frequently is most people dwell on those things. Most people dwell on those things. How many of you can relate to the following? You are in an office space now or maybe in the past, and there was an employee, maybe employees, who would come in and at 7:30, 8 a.m., their face just said, buzz off. By a show of hands and say, I. Oh, we can all relate. I hope and trust none of you are the culprit of such. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, people drive to work in the morning, they spill coffee on themselves, they get cut off and flicked off on the road. Something happens outside of their control, and what do? They let it ruin their whole day. They let it ruin their whole day. They come into the office space with this frustrated look. They don't want to talk to anybody, and it negatively affects and impacts your ability to succeed at the level you're capable of. I'm not a psychologist nor a psychiatrist, but I know human beings, damn it. I know myself. That the times that I've not performed, the times that I've not excelled, the times where I've not been as effective as I could be is due in part because I'm thinking about some BS that I shouldn't even be thinking about. Karen, you can relate?
Yeah, I can relate, Adam.
Eliminate those negative thoughts. Replace them with something more empowering. When we focus on that which we can't control, again, I'm going to say it one more time, we inherently disallow ourselves the opportunity to think with the same level of creativity, at the same level of complexity that we would have otherwise have been able to think. I challenge you instead, ladies and gentlemen, to leave here this evening to focusing upon controlling 3 things that each and every day are in your control. Each and every day, these 3 things are in your control, ladies and gentlemen. That is, number 1, your work ethic. Number 2, your demeanor and how it is you treat people. And number 3, your attitude and how it is you respond to adverse and conflictual situations. The last one or all 3?
The last 3.
How you respond, your attitude. Your attitude and how you respond to conflictual situations or adversity.
Not about what happens to you, it's how you handle
That's right. What's your name?
it.
Deborah says it's not about what happened to you, it's how you handle it. So true, Deborah. You want to take the stage? Okay. So true. Well done. I love it. Very true. Yes, sir. So working backwards, it doesn't matter which order. Of course, attitude, your demeanor, and thank you, work ethic. I'm forgetting my own point. John got me off my toes. I'm still thinking about him telling me about drinking beer in front of the TV at 5:30. So to point 1 on controlling what you can control, ladies and gentlemen, your work ethic. I know this sounds cliche, but you and I are given the same 24 hours each and every day. And there are things that come up that we can't control that are going to consume those hours. We have to sleep and eat and so on and so forth. I get all that. But if you really take a look at what you're doing with your hours, I think you'll find that you're not as effective and productive as you could be. I'm not a huge Mark Cuban fan, but I've studied and read some of his stuff, and there's one thing that has always resonated with me that Mark said, and that is, no one should know your business more than you know your business. I'll say it again. No one should know what you do better than you. Like, you can control that. When I started my business, I realized one of the things that was disallowing me from getting opportunities is that I couldn't effectively articulate knees to knees what I did. I wasn't able to, although I had that why, I couldn't package it in such a way that let people know what I do. Take time to know your business better than anyone else, to know this market, to know the market of what you're trying to get into. I just had the great opportunity to speak to Lee Memorial Health System, their family medicine program this past June. I've never had any medicine training. I am not a doctor. All I've got is a bachelor's degree. One of the reasons I felt and feel that I was able to get that opportunity is because I was able to speak a little bit of their language on the front end. I put my time, invested my time on the front end, 20 plus hours to learn about family medicine. What do they struggle with? What do doctors have problems with? What are their adversities? And when I can learn something as such and be able to speak their language, they're more inclined to hire me. So my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is if you're in insurance, if you're in sales, if you're your own business owner, I know Signy's got her photo solution, in Focus Photo Solutions. I got it right? Okay, In Focus Photo Solutions. You know, when you're going after your client, do you know what do they struggle with? How can, and I trust that you do, you don't need to answer, but just for everyone to think about. Do you know everything you can know about that potential client? You have to do your work on the front end. You can't expect them to just send a cold email or a cold call and say, hey, I'm such and such from such and such a place. Can I get your business? Or I'd like to have coffee with you. Why the hell are they going to have coffee with you if you can't add value to their lives? Strive to know how you can add value on the front end. Does that make sense? Say aye. The second thing that you can control, ladies and gentlemen, is your demeanor. How it is that you treat people. There's this idea, I think, in business, amongst men and women, that they have to uphold some sort of standard, some sort of demeanor. That men, particularly, and I'm not letting you ladies off the hook, don't worry, but they are always trying to impress with their power suits and power ties. I know you're thinking, well, you got a suit on. And yes, I do, but I'm not. I'm here tonight because I need, in this, I would much rather be in shorts and a t-shirt because that fits me, because I knew my clientele of whom I was speaking to were at a business event. But why I bring this up is because people buy you. You don't have to overcompensate for who you're not. Like, you don't have to try to be this arrogant, egotistical, and this isn't just men now, but women too. You don't have to be this arrogant, egotistical, self-centered individual to be successful. People buy authenticity. Something that helped me again in the beginning stages of my business that I was so fearful of sharing on the front end was that I slept in my car. I was embarrassed and humiliated by it. So I tried to hide it from everyone. Once I began telling people, you know what, I failed miserably in the first year. It was terrible. I wasn't getting any paid speaking engagements. I was sleeping in my car. I had to jump couch to couch for 6 months. They were more intrigued because now I opened up. I wasn't trying to be something I'm not. Does that make sense? Say yes. Yes. Be you, ladies and gentlemen. Be you. And lastly, the third point. John, I'm testing you. You ready? Attitude?
Is it my demeanor?
No.
I wrote that down.
Attitude.
I wrote down party less.
Party less. Hey.
People that know me I need to party less.
Well, it looks like I added at least some sort of value here tonight. Lastly, as it relates to what you can control, ladies and gentlemen, you can control your attitude, your professionalism, how it is you respond to conflict. Each and every one of us in this room have failed and will continue to fail. It's inevitable. What we do with that failure is up to us. So I ask you, do you let failure define you, or do you define it? What does it mean when you fail? when you lose a contract?
You learn something.
What was your name? No, go ahead. That's okay. I like it.
Sorry. You learn something, Marietta.
Marietta says you learn something. Undoubtedly. Only, Marietta, if you have the courage and humility to self-assess. A lot of people want to always be right. How many of you know someone like this? Show of hands. I've been there. In addition to speaking, I referee basketball. I've been very fortunate and blessed to get up at a high level and work in the Big South Conference for the NCAA. And I didn't get there by luck. I got there because I was willing to look at my own plays and say, damn, I missed that play. That coach I gave a technical foul to, I shouldn't have given him a technical foul. He was right all along. And when I can have that humility to look at it and self-assess, that's when I learn and grow. How could you learn and grow if you were humble enough to self-assess? Lastly, Martin, how's my time? Martin, my time, man.
6:20.
Okay, perfect. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, number 3. We're off to topic 2 of control what you can control. We're on to number 3. To help you optimize your business performance, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And so many people in today's world think, well, Adam, I've been hearing this for 30 years, and I do operate out of my comfort zone. I'm okay with being uncomfortable. The harsh reality is, though, we might have at once been okay with being uncomfortable, but over time we begin to become stagnant. That when maybe we started our business on the front end 20 years ago, we were grinding and working and pushing and going on meetings and cold calling and emailing and doing everything we could. But then we got our business to a certain place where we were able to scale it, and now we're floating and we're making money and we're paying our bills and everything's good. So all of a sudden we stopped growing. We become comfortable. I'd like to think in life that we don't get what we're capable of. And before I go any further, I want you to understand one thing, that I'm not one of these what I like to call woo-woo speakers. I'm not here tonight to tell you that if you close your eyes, you see it, you believe it, you're going to achieve it. Because that's bullshit. Pardon my language. I hope we'll have to edit that from the video. But when I tell you what I'm about to tell you, I want you to know that it's sincere, because there were so many times in my life where I felt that I couldn't do what I'm doing right now because people told me I couldn't, because I was too young and I didn't have corporate America experience. So I know what it's like not to feel enough, but I know too that here it is. You don't get what you're capable of in life. You get what you're comfortable with. Where you are right now is a direct result of what you've been comfortable in doing. So many people say that, I want to grow my business. I've been wanting to grow my business. I've tried everything. Oh, you've tried everything, huh? Have you walked up and down the beach in the scorching heat? You can find a beach in Naples, Florida. There are thousands of people on it every day. Have you handed out flyers on the beach and approached people who you didn't even know? Have you stood on a street corner holding a sign saying, I want your business, hire me? Have you cold called? I think cold calling is a dead art now. And I'm not a huge fan of it. I was terrible at it. I still don't like talking on the phone as much as I would knees to knees. But are you willing to pick up the phone and call somebody you don't know? Don't tell me you've tried everything if you've not tried everything. You've tried the things you're comfortable with doing. You've tried the things that you're comfortable with. The easy things. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob. I like this audience. You guys got some good responses. I like it. So the million-dollar question always becomes, oh, well, great. I know I need to get out of my comfort zone. But how the hell do I do it now? Well, lucky for you, I've got the answer. Here are the ways that I've found to be beneficial for me to get out of my comfort zone. Because there is no trick, ladies and gentlemen. Every day you fight it. Every day, still when I take the stage, I get butterflies. You overcome it, okay? So here are the two things. Number one, this might be long to write, so if you need me to say it again, I will. The unpredictability of our future is what scares the hell out of me. It is what allows me to get out of my comfort zone when I feel like I want to stay stagnant. And here's what I mean by that. The realization that 100 years from now, I and you will not be here drives me to do anything I'm fearful of. You know why? Because what any of you think to me tonight is irrelevant 100 years from now. Is irrelevant 100 years from now. If you think I'm a Looney Tunes speaker who's too loud and enthusiastic, who's whatever else you might say about me, I can't allow that to harm and affect me. Because 100 years from now, I'm going to be gone. I might walk out of these doors today and, God forbid, get hit, and that be it for me. I know that might be a tough subject for people to understand, like, oh, I don't want to think about death. But it's inevitable. So you might be thinking, well, how does that get you out of your comfort zone? It's a change of state. Like it's a change of your state. When you're fearful and in your comfort zone because you're oftentimes too worried about what everyone else is going to think about you and what they are thinking about you. So you don't act. When you have that unpredictability of your future and realization that life is very fragile, it entices you to take action. The second thing, ladies and gentlemen, if that doesn't do it for me to drive me out of my comfort zone to want to take action, I ask myself a few simple questions. The first is, what's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? If you're trying to get a big client, I know Martin Pankey very well, and he runs a successful marketing agency here in Southwest Florida. If you're trying to go after a Hertz, Martin, and you might be in with them already, I don't know, but and you're fearful of going to their CEO, and it would be hard to get to him, but if you're fearful of getting to whoever the decision maker is, because you don't feel that maybe you're going to be well-versed enough, just ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody can turn you down and think you're incompetent and not valuable. For me, that was the worst that can happen. I started my business at 23. People told me I was nuts. Well, hell, what's the worst that can happen? People look at me, laugh, and tell me I can't. It happened. I sleep in my car because I can't pay my bills. It happened. I'm still here and breathing. You will find the next question that I always ask myself after that is, what's the worst that can happen? I list everything that could potentially happen. Literally everything. Everything. Can I handle it? Can I physically handle it? And I think what you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, is yes, you can. Because we as human beings are a lot stronger than we think, damn it. We have a lot more within us that we don't know about. We don't have the courage to tap into it, though. We don't have that courage to tap into it. Can I handle it? And the million-dollar answer is, if yes, well then go after it. Now, if it's physically going to cause you harm and make you die, don't do it. Don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a privilege to be with you all tonight. Again, I just want to reiterate the three things that will really help you in optimizing. It's not the end-all, be-all. It doesn't end here today. We have to be constant learners. We have to be willing to grow always. But three things I guarantee will help you improve is if you live with passion, speak with passion, have passion. If you control those things in your life that you can really control. And lastly, if you have that courage and willingness to get outside of your comfort zone and constantly operate outside of your comfort zone, you undoubtedly will be able to tackle the tasks that come in front of you and optimize that business performance. Thank you so very much.